Yeah. Oh. Right, let me clear this stuff. Let me see if this is working. I didn't test this out. 1 2 1 2. Right. Am I on? Hiya all. Sorry about this. My clock's wrong. Let me see. Is this all right? So there is a delay. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. Sorry I'm late. I got blended up. Evening, easy people. Easy Simon Harrison. Easy Dazza. Ilias. Hey. Can you hear me? Am I on? Oh, right. That's great. That's great. All right then. All right then. Easy people. Happy New Year. And yeah, I've just got myself an air fryer, so I was doing that. The volume's a little low. Okay, let me try and resolve some of this. Right. Hopefully I won't deafen you out. And I'm gonna try some plink plonk first. Use my headphones for once. So can you hear that? Sounds good. All right then. That's good. All right then. Oh, let me move this mic. I know why as well, because my mic's usually over here. Yeah. So, hope you're having. Oh, wait a minute. What's that? I think that'll be fine. Yeah. So hope you're all having a great start to the new year. Yeah, as I always try to do, I try and get on. This is my first one of the year, I guess, and I whenever I get chance to use the force and do stuff, now I discover something new or something that I think people will be interested in. I'll try and jump on and show it. So this I think is cool, and this is kind of from anybody who's been watching my like live streams, is a thing that I've observed. Let me see if I can get. I think this the light's all right, but just you never know. I'll try and get it a bit better, maybe. Bright is always better, I guess. Um, what's that? What is that? What's this? Is that that? Let me just try and clear some. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway. Um. Yeah. So, like I say, anything that I discover that I like to be able to show, I like to show and discover, and this will be well, in theory, short. Hell knows, hell knows if it'll be short, but in theory, kind of shorter than usual. And I wanted to show this, and it's about slice motion. It's also about sample edit. Uh, as I always say, I personally think MPC3 is best displayed in this unit because this is the grandfather of it all, I guess. And that's why I say it's that, and it's the thing I push the most on myself. And I will say that I do believe the next year will be a great year for Force users, or maybe next 2 years, who knows. So I think it's going to be a good year for anybody who likes to use this. Let me get back to what I was trying to say. So, thing what I was stating before, and I might have mentioned before, is I think we've reached a point in the creative industries, maybe in many other industries anyway, but in creative stuff, that there's two things now. There's the products for purpose and the products for process. And what I realized in that time is you can use both and join them together. and you have something unique and comes gives you ideas that you might not see before, or even more so, better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement that into what I'm going to show you with slice motion and sample edit. What I'm going to try and do, what I was going to do is I was going to show a load of genres, but then I realised it doesn't really work like that for me in my head, because there's not. I love music, but there's certain styles that they don't do out for me. Even though I can do them, they just don't do out for me. And I've started to realize it's probably best if I do the stuff I like while I'm showing it, and then if anybody's into any kind of genres around that, or even not, they can use whatever I've shown here. So I'm kind of approaching that. But I am going to do kind of three genres that I don't mind. One's dance, one's hip hop, and then the other, I don't know, something else. Let me just quickly see what I was saying. I've got a gig coming up. I'm in the process of gig project with many sequences, your videos. Oh, that's great. Yeah. While I'm on the pre ramble, that was my main thing when I thought about it. My main thing about getting the Force was all for live use, and that was my main aim. Is always to try and find something I could do with gigs. So my focus for several years has been, how could I use this to play with a band? How could I use this to just play by myself? How could I use this for live stuff? And I never really, even though production and producing on this is like beautiful and fast, that has never really been my focus, because my focus has always been like live performance. I genuinely believe that's the last thing left anyway. I thought that before anything else, and this is years ago. I always thought live performance is probably something where everything else might not be avenues to make any. Well, I don't know. Everybody wants to do music. Everybody does creative stuff for different reasons. That's one thing I've learned. Um, Even me, what what I went into music for has changed so vastly in ways that I never expected. So when I start to think about this, I've started to understand everybody has different reasons for why they do music. Foolishly, when I was young, I did it for money and girls, and stupidly um, didn't really get much of either, really. But over that time, I started to appreciate a lot of reasons for it. Anyway, enough of my preamble. This is what I'm going to do: slice motion. So I'm going to take you through it and show you what I've gathered from here. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go to main, because I'm starting with just a basic one. And I'm just going to go into drum, change this to drum, so that we've got something drum there anyway to start with. Could I have done that without doing that? Yes, I could. Should I do that? No, because this is the best way to do it. Oh, sorry. Let me just see what you said, Dazza. Sorry. I'm at my force when I watch you is a quick way to bounce certain tracks over multi-sequence down audio. I've ever done it once. Multi-sequence track. Yeah, what you'd want to do is if you've got a multi-sequence track. Oh, sorry, multi-track sequence, not a multi-sequence track. Yeah, if you've done a song. So let's say I've done a song here, and then oh, what am I doing? I'm in here. No, I'm not. My brain's gone dead. Press save. Audio mix down. So the only thing you're doing is you're saying separate tracks. And because, like it says, Q of L, quality of life. That's all I'm about, is quality of life stuff. So what you can do is you can export submixes. So like if you've got a bunch of stuff that you've put together and you've done an effect for it, you can export that as its own channel. and you can export the return effects. The reason why I'd say submixes are quite cool is because then you could send a load of effects to that, and then it means like also returns as well. So if you want to return effects, but say if you didn't want any of that shenanigans, you deconnect that, and then all of the stuff should come out on the tracks. So whatever effects is should be there. Don't quote me on that. I haven't done it in such a while, but I feel that if you just do subtracks, that should be direct. So just go audio mix down, and then you're changing it from subtracks to that. Oh, also, while I'm here, just in case I think you already know this, but if you don't forget whenever you're doing your songs and you're working on songs, it doesn't matter if you finish them or whatever, but what you want to do is you want to make sure on the first thing you do or one time, just create a loop. Just create a loop of the song in arrangement, a little bit of the song. You don't have to do a whole of the piece of the song, just a piece of the song, and then press save as. You can switch all of this off because it doesn't really matter when you're going to do this. And you just go, click off. All right. Oh, right. Yeah, of course. You can't switch that off because you've put that on in it. Yeah, that makes sense. I get that. I get that. So, when you've got a song that you've put together, don't forget, press save project preview. And then when you press export, what will happen is it won't export that as a track. It'll export that bit as a preview. So, what does that mean? Well, it basically means when you're going through your stuff and you say, right, what tunes have I got? Instead of you going, oh, good Lord, do I have to load all of these up? You can just go, right, I haven't set this up as projects, but on the project ones, I can just go like that. And then now, they actually just preview. So now I can just go through all the stuff. So if I went to just project, I can kind of go through stuff and I can go, right, what's this? I'll go, oh yeah, I remember that, I like that. Oh, what's that? I haven't done it to all of them, but some of these are old ones what I haven't messed with. But the ones that I have, I can just put through. So I don't have to load them up. I can kind of go through. Oh yeah, is that a tune? Oh yeah, I like that. It's the bang one, is it? Oh yeah, Christmas time. Do you know what I mean? So always remember to do that on your tune so that you can. I don't know. I didn't come. Sorry. So I just remember those remix tunes. So remember to do that. Let me do one more thing. Let me just turn up the volume a bit on my headphones. That's better. Is that? Yeah. Glitch City. There's no way this is my headphones. Right, I'm gonna get into this. I'm just gonna fix this because I just want to make sure this is right. Oh, lying. Let me just check something. Make sure this is clear. Piano. Oh no, go. That's better. No, worse than when some stuff's not coming out stereo in your headphones. Right. So anyway, let's get to what we were going to be doing. So I've converted this to a drum track, and I'm going to name as I go. So if anybody's got their Force on or they're near it, work along. If you haven't, I'm going to go. I'm going to go at a pace so that you'll be able to rewind this and be able to have a look at it, and you go, yeah, yeah, I know what I need to do. Let me just quickly do one thing. Cool. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a sample. As I was saying to you, I've realised now you can combine both worlds together. So because I don't, not that it matters because this isn't monetized anyway. None of my stuff is. I've got some stuff here, some tunes. I'm going to start off with a dance one. Yeah, easy there. NYT crawler, New York Times crawler. Well, nice one for joining in. So anyway, I'm going to start off with something dancey. So let me go to samples, and I'm just going to go through some samples here and find something. What's ace is these are all tunes I made, so I can kind of mess with them. So, yeah, that's the one I'll do. I don't know. It was the first thing I'll choose. I'm not going to think all about this. So don't expect a super duper banger coming out of here. This is just a show. So I'm going to load a sample, and then I've got. I don't know what this is going to sound like. So what I'm going to do is I'm in sample edit, go into sample edit, and then I'm going to go drop and trim. Let me just check something. I know that I did. Yeah, I thought as much. I just wanted to make sure that I was right, and we'll go back. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my life easy. So I'm just going to chop these into regions. So this whole song I've chopped into regions. I think this song, yeah, is 126. I'm going to keep it at that tempo. So I'll just keep it at that tempo now. And we'll just quickly do a dance tune quick. Right. So 16, I don't know how many minutes this song is. It's whatever. It's rough. It's not correct, but it'll give me, in theory, that should be 2 bars. Maybe I want that to be 32s probably, because that'll probably be like 4 bars, not 2 bars. That would probably be 8 bars. So let's do it at 32. That'll probably be 4 bars. Next thing what I want to do is I'm going to switch on this thing here. And what this is this is really useful for up at the top, this like digit thing, and this activates the pads. Why this is good using this is not just for you can do tap chops and whatever, but I didn't need to because I've already done that. Is when I switch between chop and trim, which I'll be doing, it means I've got control over the sample on the pads, and you'll see why this becomes really easy very soon. So I kind of listened to a bit of it. I don't know what it is. I'm going to take bits of chunks of this and redo it into a tune. I could do a chop remix doing this, but I'm going to make my own tune again out of a tune that I made. So in a weird way, it is a chop remix, but this is an example in this way of doing it. And what I think I might do is show a bit of how you can make DJ. And I'll make a tune. I'm gonna not be too long, but what I might do is make a couple of tunes, and then show you how you can DJ with tunes. And the same premise would work if you just got tracks, MP3s or WAVs. They always convert. So I may talk through that, but anyway, look, let's start with wherever we are, not get distracted because I always do. So let me get to a main part of this tune. Right. Okay then. Let me see. Is there a busier part? That's nice. We'll have that. Is there another one? Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that so much. I might actually chop that up a bit more. So I'm gonna go in here and work it out. Another thing, obviously, default screen. So I'm on screen for this, so I can move around and scroll, and it's just gonna make my life easy. Another little tip, couple of tips here. First thing first, if you go on here and you got auto scroll, it's probably worth switching auto scroll off whenever you're using samples. You're doing sample edit, so that whenever you're messing with the sample, because you can do this in real time, which I'll show you, you're not going to keep losing your space at your place. On other things, auto scroll's great. Auto scroll is ace when you're doing arrangements. Auto scroll is great for when you're doing clips and everything else. But in sample edit, not so much. Another thing what I think is helpful is changing that to beats. Shame I can't make that as a default, but such is life. That's the way it is sometimes. And the reason why I do beats is because you're working with beats. You know what I mean? It saves you a load of bother. So now, as you're probably looking at this, you're probably going, "Well, yeah, that's great." But now that you've not got follow, how do you know where you are? Because it's not showing. Well, what's really ace about this is all I have to do is touch to go to wherever I was. So as soon as I touch, it automatically puts me to the active part. So now this tune, I like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back by pressing chop to trim. The only main thing I personally use out of this is this button here. So you've got all these play, stops, play at the end, come back round, blah blah, cup of tea and slice of cake. You can look at them, and you can find them. But the only one that really matters is this one. I'm going to do this in real time, and then I'll explain. And if anybody says, "Tom, slow down, you're killing them," right? Then I'll come back and show you. So I'm going to do this in real time. I'm going to go back to that, and I'm on the same one. Where was it? So this is the one where I want. That's the thing where I want. What I'm going to do is go to press that. Oh, hello. Let's do that again, because that's... Oh, right. Well, another quality of life thing. Right, obviously, well, it's not obvious, but put it this way, I don't think I'm talking out of turn. Obviously, we're going to keep supporting all of MPC3 stuff, so there's obviously some more updates coming. And I've just observed something which I didn't know, which is going to be resolved soon. So, anyway, let me get back to the point. Let me go back to the thing what I was going to mention. It's number 11. Right, number 11. So it's slice 11. Let me go move that to slice. Oh, all right. Okay. Interesting. Oh, no. Right. I'm going to explain this because I remember now something slightly changed here. Something slightly changed. So let me think. Let me think. Let me have a quick think. I'm really not going to take long about this. I want a... It's not on a pad. It's no, I have to... Wow, that's sneaky, that. Right, I've got to go to chop. I'm going to go back to this sample here. I want to get to 11. 11's the one I want. So I'm going to move to the one I want, which is this one. But I want to edit that. So my brain, I have to remember what you have to do at the mo. Don't quote me on this. Let me just check. I want to change this back to an edit. So I want to edit this sample, which is that one. And I've sliced this up, but I want this slice. Right, let me go back. I'm going to come out of here and then come back in, because I've just realised there's an update, and it's slightly, the behaviour is slightly different. So let me just think. Right, now it's resolved. So I can go to 11. In fact, let me just double check because this might have completely resolved now anyway. So let me go here. Right. Let me go to 11. Right. Right, that's not cool. That's not cool. What did I do to do this before? I went... Do I need to do a sign? No, not yet. Why is that not... Why is that not doing that? Right. Well, anyway, it's 11. I don't know why it's doing that. So I'm going to start that again. Right, I'm going to start that again. First things first, I've gone to regions and I've chopped that into by using regions. So I've gone to regions. I've made it 32 regions. So these are 32 pieces here now. The one that I liked after choosing different ones, I liked 11. In theory, you can go that and you should be able to go through the slices to 11. It should have really remained at where it was. It hasn't. Obviously, nature of things are in a forthcoming update, it doesn't do it like that. But for this one, you want to go to the slice that you want. Now I've got the slice that I want. I'm back here again, like I was saying, playing the stuff that I want. But the reason why I press this one and I say this is more important than the other ones is this puts it into a loop. So you can loop sections. You can either loop a sample section or if you go back to trim, you can loop a chop section. So this section now will just loop and I can go to town on it. As I was stating before, you're switching off. You're going to go in here and switch off auto scroll because you don't need to have auto scroll on because by touching the Q links, you get to any point of the active thing. So for example, let me go back to chop again. It's holding the right thing now. It's holding where it is. But let's say if I went to 1 and then I went back, I don't know. But this ain't going to work now because it's going to go to 11. But for anybody who's just joined in, because I don't know if anybody was been paying attention, if I was, say, just for the sake of argument, I was here, right? And then I'm on that, and I'm on trim. Oh, well, I'll have to do it again. Right. Say if I was... Oh, good Lord. Let's say... All right, I'm on 11 here. And then let's say, just for the sake of argument, I'm here. Right? Instead of me going, oh, well, that means I'll have to go and scroll over the way and go find where that thing was and where was it? Oh, I missed it and blah, blah, blah. Cup of tea, slice of cake. All I have to do is just tap and I'm there. Okay. Right. So, like I said, this is the main button. You've got your trims. You've chopped your sample. Go to trim. Make sure this is on. Press this. So now I can just go through this stuff. Now, another thing I should explain is the higher the numbers, the quicker, the more... the higher the numbers, the more coarse it is. So, just in case if you don't know, so for example, times 1,000 means it's going to go through fast. Times 1, it's going to go through it one sample at a time. Multi-sample, wave sample, one wave sample at a time, wave sample. Right. So anyway, back to this because we like to, because doing stuff in real time is much better. So I've gone past it as well. So there we are. So, and then I'm going to the end part, and again, massively. So now I've got perfect tight loops. And if I weren't quite sure, say if I were like, oh, is that quite right? I can just go in by one and move it just slight. Another thing you should probably do is put non snap on And then it means you won't have any clips, just in case. Obviously, for what I'm going to be using, this doesn't matter, but it helps to have that on, just for when it's going to chop. It probably helps. Okay, so great. So I've got my first little bit that I like. So I'm going to go now to process, and I'm going to go to a function. I'm going to extract that piece out of that song. And just because I'm going to stem this, keep the words shorter. And the reason why you probably want to do that is because then you'll be able to see where you are. If I have Don't Funk's probably not that long, so Don't Funk, and then it's got bass and whatever, it's probably fine. But if you want to make your life easier, just make it shorter. So this is DF1. I mean, oh good lord, I didn't even finish it. Right, process it. So I'll go DF. Come on, stop being crap. So I'm going to go DF, and I'll call it DF1. So I know that's the main one of the thing that I'm going to be using. Right, so I'll do it, and then I'm going to extract that piece, and I've got my one piece. What's nice is this doesn't it doesn't change the focus, so I'm still in the main tune, so I can use this. And this is a good way of, if you want to chop up samples or go through samples, you can do that. You chop up the thing into easier chunks that you can deal with, and then you can just carry on through. So now I can go. Yeah, I could have that as well. Yeah, I'll take that piece as well. So again, back to this, and hell knows. Anyway, it was number 12. Do you know what? Let me see some other stuff before I go on. So that's probably because that's on the end of da da da. Dum 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 da da da. So I want somewhere between that, don't I? Yeah, I'm not going to overthink this. Right, 13. So for now, you just have to remember the slices. Like I say, it's only for now. But so again, press that. I like that for there, so I'm going to find another part. I'll have it at the end. So I'll let it loop round. I'll loop that. Try not to be too long. Okay, I'm going to show you another thing now. Can anybody just tell me, can I talk at the same time as the music's playing? Or does this cut off? Can you hear what I'm saying? just a quick yes means that I don't have to keep stopping all the time. I can let it play and explain what I'm doing at the same time. I'm going to make an assumption that somebody say yes, so I don't have to repeat myself on certain things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off link slices. I'm going to take off link slices, which now means that I've got control over how big this section is now. And it'll just shift everything because they're not kind of related. Because I'm missing part of it. So I'll go back to the so the beginning part is before. So somewhere like that's it. Let me just check one thing because I want to make sure I'm on the right thing. Let me see. If you can raise the vocal, the music's too loud. Right. All right. I'll bring down the music then. Tell me if you don't mind, if you prefer me to stop and explain, or me to do it kind of real time with the music playing. So tell me either way. Right, I've turned down the music a bit more, but tell me if you prefer the stop-start thing or me doing it like that, fluid, and explaining while I'm doing it. Because like I said, I can do stuff in real time, and this will probably show you how much fluid you can actually do stuff. Right, so let me just go like this to make sure I'm on bar 1, because I know. So that, see, because even though that's funky, that's not on the right bar. See, that's the right bar. That's the bar. Doom. That's the first beat. There it is. So now let's go. So it's there, innit? What's that? Just lower the music slightly. Okay, so I've lowered the music slightly, so let's see. See, so now this is quite good work. Like I said, this helps using it like this in real time, because now you can go, yeah, that's nice, that's a tight one. So I've got my next one, so I'm going to extract that. I'll call that DF2 as well. And the other thing about doing like this kind of stuff as well is you can go through your old tunes. Agreed. Oh, right, nice one. Easy. Sandra G as well. Shao for coming, and yeah. So I'll export. I'll do one more, and I'll quickly put this together and do another style, because otherwise, you know, I mean, I'll just get into the weeds. Right. So we've got 2 pieces. Another piece. What about that? Yeah, something like that. 15. We'll make something out of 15. It's not precise. It doesn't have to be. It's all right. 15. So 15. Wait, is that nice? So it's nearly there. Let's go back a bit. So I think that's right. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. No, that's not in the right place, is it? See, this is why DJing helps. I'll do a gap drop, it doesn't really go back a bit further. There. Da, 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 da. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's there. No, it's there. know where the beat starts? I think it's that. Circle. Yeah, that feels right. So this is right. I think it's there. Alright. That's it. Do you know what? I love loops, me. I just love tight loops. That'll do me. That'll do me. Okay, so I'll extract this. I'll call it DF3 as well. Double tap for, if you double tap that shift thing, you get caps, just in case you don't know. So I've got my nice 3 pieces, DF1, DF2, DF3, right? Because I'm going to, like I say, try to make it show you it is a tune so you hear it, you can see it in context. So I've got that there. I've got the 3 DF1, DF2, DF3. Let's start with DF1. So we're going to go on here to DF1. And what we're going to do is we're going to chop that again. So I'm just going to use regions because, again, life's too short. So I don't want 32 because I want it nice. 16 will do me because I can tap at 16. So I'm going to do that by half. And then I've got to do it. And now I've got nice 16 all chopped up. And that was extracted from that whole main tune. So I heard some pieces that I liked. I said, yeah, them 3 pieces, that'll do me. Right. Now, here's the next piece of this, which is nice. So I'll go back from chops to trim. And then the only thing I want to do is I want to do stems. Now, here's the thing. What you want to do, you know, before I do any of that, let me just see what was in that tune so that I don't overplay my hand. And so here, what's in there? Right. So there's no vocals in there. Great. Oh yeah, you can start and stop stuff as well. And why I say this is good is this doesn't matter if it's a loop or not. It'll just keep playing in a loop. So you don't have to create a loop to begin with or anything. You can just go, right, what's this? All right. That works as a vibe. You know it's a vibe. And the other reason why I was saying the beat, let me just quickly go here to zoom out, zoom back in, is now I know that this is tight bars. I can see this as bars. So if I wanted to, I don't know, just for the sake of argument, let's say I wanted to make that 3/4 of that I don't know, make it some kind of weird triplet timing on a 4/4, which you can do, and make it into a 3/4 timing. I could do this because I can see the beats now, so I could just kind of work out where I'd want them beats and then be able to go into here and then just say, oh yeah, well, let me change this timing, and then I can change how many beats it's going to be, and I'll be able to work it out against something. Obviously, that's really fancy stuff. As I've already stated before, I think I'm not really into, I like 4/4. Maybe I don't mind 5/8 for certain things, and 6/8 as well for certain things, but for the most part I'm just 5/4. I mean 4/4. So everything's just always straight ahead. It doesn't even matter if I hit a waltz sample or something, I'll make it into 4/4 because I can kind of get my head around that type of meter. Anyway, let me go back to what we were doing. So I've got my thing there, and as I said, I wanted to slice it, and I have sliced it into nice 16 bits. Now, normally what people would do is they go, all right, cool, convert, and you go press convert, and then now you've got your nice drum kit, and Bob's your uncle. Do you know what I'm going to do? I've just thought in my head, I'm going to combine both of those, and there's reasons why it could be cool to combine both of these methods together. So I'll keep that in my mind, and hopefully I won't get distracted, and I'll bring this implement back in. But now, normally what I've done is I've extracted a piece of sample, and I've chopped it up. So I've showed you a bit of sample edit. Yeah, that's great. Yay! But the thing is, if I was to make this into a kit, now it would lay out in exactly the same way it is here. So I would have 16 pads with each pad having a slice on that pad. So that's great. I can play it in all the types of ways I can, and that's champion. But I want to stem all that because now I've just got, yeah, and there's drums underneath that, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's no good to me because what if I want to replace them drums? Some of that stuff was nice, but maybe not all of it. Maybe I don't like the kick or whatever. So now I'll go back from chops back to the trims. I could turn this off. This doesn't really matter anymore now. And do you know what? Just to keep things of the process slowly, I'm going to turn it off. Doesn't really matter, but I'll just turn it off for the sake of understanding it and slow the process. On the next ones, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep them on and active, but I'll just show you now. So I've got my thing there. I'm going to go to stems, right? And this is the thing. I listened to that tune and there were no vocals, so I can get rid of that. There was just bass, drums. In a dream world, processing though, it'd be nice to have a little bit more. We can understand other. You never know. But anyway, you get what we get. And here's the trick. You turn off untrimmed sample. And that's the key to it. If you have untrimmed sample on, what you're saying to this process, this function is, I want to just stem these pieces. I want to stem these pieces to be just separate pieces to themselves, right? When you take that off, what you're saying is, I want what's there as what is there, not anything that you've done, if you've done any section or whatever. It's whatever's there, I want as stems. Big difference. I'm explaining that. The short version is, if you're using any slices or anything else, you want to turn that off, because now what it's saying is, I want to keep everything else intact. When you do this, I want what was there intact. So I don't want it sliced. I don't want these to be new funky slices of something else. I want what you had there intact as the same thing. I don't want anything new. So now I'm going to press do it. And slowly when it's doing it, obviously this is real time. It's not that long because obviously what did I do him as? I did him as like, I think I did 2 bars in it. So that's quite quick, relatively quick-ish. And they've improved the algorithm as well. So this is good. And sooner or later we should have something pop up there. Right, great. Yay! So now, if I press edit, instead of having to do this to get into track all, I can press edit and the pad and it'll take me directly to that pad. So if I listen to that, great! Yay! Now that's pretty standard. And what I could do is, because it's on one thing, I could turn them up and down the volumes and everything else like that, and that's great. But what would happen if I says, right, great, I like that, but I think that's too fast. I want it slower. Well, if I press warp, it's not going to warp all of them. It can only warp the one on the top. Can't. Sorry, I'm going the wrong thing. It can't warp this one, as you say. It's greyed out. But, I'll give you the simple reason why that is. There's only a certain amount of things that can be warped in real time, because there's a certain amount of stems. I don't mean stems in audio. Audio stems, that's not the right term. There's a certain amount of audio pipelines. I can't remember, the words are just lost. There's a certain amount of things that you can have in real time playing at the same time. That's the easiest way of me saying it. I think it's eight. So it's 16 stereo real time. I think that's how it works out. The easiest way of looking at it is you've got, if you have 8 audio tracks on an on these units, taken away, obviously, the MPC3 is different. So always remember the MPC3. The way you want to look at it is the MPC3 is 4 times any of these other devices. So just remember that when you're looking at an MPC3, it's 4 times the power of that. Kind of three times. No, it's about 4 times. So this can play 8 pieces of audio in real time at one go of stereo, or 16 mono, right, in real time. The way that works is when you've got things on and you've got things a warp, they're not always playing all at the same time, because like when something's finished, something else is playing. It's just the same as when something's drawn off of the disc of this streaming. It's drawing certain bits of audio. Hence the reason why I always say to folks, whenever you're doing anything in on audio track, trim the track, because there's a certain finite amount of audio length that it looks at. Is another easy way of looking at it. So that's why sometimes when people do a tune and they say, "Oh, why did the tune stop?" I don't understand it. It's because you've got a massive chunk of audio and you're just taking bits out of it, but you haven't trimmed it. So it's looking at the whole of that track, where instead of it looking at just that one piece, it has to look at the whole of that piece. So you want to break down, and again, quality life thing, because it's a certain amount of audio. It means depending on how short that audio is, there's a certain amount of time that it can draw stuff off. Why is that good? Well, because now what you can do is you can save stemmed tracks, stemmed drum tracks. So you could have a drum track, and you could actually have those doing disc streaming. It depends on how long it is. My rule of thumb is if it's a second or longer, you're fine. It's probably shorter than that, but I always say a second or longer. Or if you go underneath a second, then it's like there's a certain amount of time that it's got before you can hear it, before it can draw. It's just like the nature of the route around, or the just the way the process goes around. So anything second more, you can have as a disc stream, is my rule of thumb. Like I say, it's probably more like half second. Anything probably lower than half second. But to be on the safe side, I say if you've got a sample longer than a second, you'll probably be able to stream that. And why is that any good? Because it means if there's certain things that you can have streaming, it means you've got all that extra memory that you could use. So, for example, you can use all of that to plugins now, because plugins is something where some of them are like romplers, and if you're going to be stuck with that amount of audio, that amount of memory has to be in RAM. So if you say you've got, let's say you're using strings, that's massive. So that's going to take up chunks, and then you go, oh, I've run out of memory. Where a quick way to work around it is anything that you can stream in drum tracks or samples, you stream, and then you can add more and more. That's why a lot of my live projects, I've got pianos and everything, and it's like it's a whole orchestra, and it's simply that way because I'm streaming everything else. So it means I can have loads of stuff going on where it's like, holy moly, I didn't know that was possible. And it's, yeah, because now it's not eating out the memory. It's not eating out the load of the memory. A lot of times you'll tend to find it's memory. It's not even CPU. CPUs only gets funny when you get in a really complex automation and with effects, and then it can eat out. And I mean, it's like when you get into really complex effect automation, which I mean, I've done it just to see if I can do it, and it's stuff where it's like you wouldn't even do that on a door. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, let's get back to what we're on about. So we've got the stem thing, and we've got it on there. We've got it on one thing. Yay! But like I said, I even though this song is 126, I like slower grooves. I think slower is funkier. So, and I like funk. I like anything where it's got funk feel. So I'm bringing this 126 down to 118. Now, normal case of this would be right. Well, yeah, you've only got one warp there, so then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna like go and resample it, time stretch it, and blah blah blah? And no, no. If you remember before, previously on slicing and sample edit, I created regions. So now this is pad. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go to edit. Oh, oh, yeah. Do you know what? Certain things are slightly, slightly different. Anyway, ignore that. Right, I'm going to go to edit all layers, and now that means certain functions are going to be affected with all layers. So the function what I want to do is I want to change this from pad to slice. So now all of these are on slices. So when I press this, what happens? This. Oh, because now what it's doing is it's doing slices. Now, normally, if I would have chopped that up before, it would have been over 16 pads. But what would have happened there? I would have lost the stem. But now I've still got that stem, but I've only got it on one slice, so that's the problem. What I could do is I could copy that stem across to all the 16 pads, and then just cheap change in the number. So I could copy to this pad 2 and change it to slice 2 with this on, and then they change to 2, and I do that 16, 15 times, and Bob's the uncle. I've got them on stems and slice. Again, life's too short. Why do I want to do it? I don't want to do that. So here comes the thing. This thing here, slice motion, was from somebody anyway. No, let me keep my mouth shut. Anyway, this had a different function. This was really built so that I think, don't quote me on it. Yeah, I think, yeah, it was. This was built for drum use because it means you can move through certain things. If you wanted to kind of cheat and make it look like you were really ace, like finger drummer, what you could do is you could have something there and keep tapping it, and you could be tapping a drum beat away. So hi hats is a good example, and you could have it where that could be really hard because obviously that's a lot of polyrhythms going on there. Anyway, it's like this now. So what I can do is I can go and I can say I'll put the increment on for this. What happens there is now this is going to go step through in increments through each slice section. So at the moment, I've done that for slice 1 on the bass. I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to do that for slice 1 on the drums. And I'm going to do that again for slice 1 on whatever other was. I don't know what was there. And now I'm back to where I was with that sample, except observe this. Obviously, I can change the tempo. So now I've got this all on one piece that I can change the tempo. There's other things that you can do with this now because it's that, which are quite fancy. Because these are slices, I can use 16 levels. So, and an easy one would be. And I've done it to 16 because 16 saves a lot of other because 16 pads. But here, check this out. What does that mean? Well, it means obviously it doesn't really work with this. But what I could do is I can have a slice where I can change the key or the note or the melody. So, for in an example, if this was some piano or a melody riff, I could have it going. It doesn't sound good on this because it's not that kind of thing. What I can do is, yeah, maybe I'll show that. Yeah, in fact, I will. But let's go back to what we were going to do, because let's start easy anyway, and I don't want to get things too confusing. So now I've got that, and I'm going to do that at 118. So all I have to do is tap this, or even easier than that, I don't even have to tap this. Why? Because again, it's the Force, and the Force is ace. All I have to do is press that, and then I'll say, right, well, I want that at a constant thing because I don't want the velocity to change. If I did, I could do that. And then all I have to do is put these in. So what am I doing them as? Well, so now, look at that. So I've been able to change that now without having to warp any of it. So from 126 to 118. Probably could even go lower than that. Oh, hello. Oh. Go back to 1. Tempo. Obviously, mileage will vary depending on how slow it is. If I did want her, and what's that still on the phone? Oh yeah, nice one, easy Jace. Yeah. Now, if I did want to warp any, I could warp the top one. What else is the advantage of this? Well, there's a couple of advantages to this now. Now that I've got this as that, I could say to myself, depending on what this sample was, I could go back in here and I didn't do that way, I could just go like that. I could now turn down or turn off stuff. So for example, I've got the drums off here, so I can add my own drums in. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to go find a kit. Let me go. Yeah. So we'll have that, say. So go back to step again, because I'm a big fan of step. Oh, 4 to the floor in it. And then we'll have clap, clap, and hi-hats. Maybe a little lower. And they're on the freeze, aren't they? So we'll have, and then they made yeah. There. And then maybe a bunch freestyled. And you know what I realised? What we did there? Well, what I did was, do you know what? Do you know what? I don't even have to do any of that. What I'm going to say to myself is, I'll do that, and what I'm going to do, let me go here, and I'm going to select all of them. And then, I'm going to go to TC. So let me go here. I can turn off that. And let me go to launch. Go launch and select it. Right, so they're still selected, and then I can go to TC, and it's going to only be the ones that are selected affected. So let me swing them. So we'll swing them up, and I'll do the hi-hat as well. So let me do these hi-hats as well. So I'll go select. Okay. Cool. They're selected, and I'll swing them as well. I'll swing them as slightly less. Not that it matters, but why not? So we've got some nice swing going on. And we'll do a double kick, so that's still in that 55, so we'll add a double kick on there. Maybe yeah. Right. Okay. So now the other thing, what I've got now that I've got this groove, as I was saying, I'm gonna leave it as that is, because that's fine. That works fine for me at the moment. That's one element. I realised what I did there is I got into a tune and go back. Let me see. What did it say? Good bit of kit. Yeah, it is. It's an amazing bit of kit. So let's get back to what we were saying. That was only one piece. Blimey, we've got another three. So I'll quickly do the other ones. I'll set up a quick tune, then I'm going to go into another tune, and then I'm going to do another one because, like I say, I could get distracted, and then I didn't want to do that. So we'll go from that D1 to D2. We're going to add in D2. So the same thing again. We know what we're doing. We'll keep the music playing. Might as well have some music while we work. Eh? Music while we work. 16ths. So we've got our 16ths. Cool. And then we're going to add that. And we'll add that here. So we're going to go stems. Obviously, the stem is going to cut off. Let's check what we've got on there before we do it. So let me go here and hear what this is. Quiet you. Words. No, that's the funk thing. Okay, cool. All right, that's the funky thing. So there were not wrong with the speed. I might bring the speed back up. We can do that later. That's the thing about now. We have the freedom to choose from the sample. So anyway, let me just go back to this. What was I going to do? Yes, so now I'll go back and I'm going to stem that. That's still fine. Yeah, that's another quality of life thing. I want to get it so that we can press the pad so that we don't have to keep finding the pad. Obviously, I know what the pad, well, it's not obvious, but I know what the pad is because that's 1. So the next one above that's going to be 5 because that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one's going to be 5. So I'm going to have that there on 5. 5, do it. And then I'm going to do the next thing as well because I know what that is, what I'm going to do. And then we've got a tune that we can actually piece together. I think we can. Yeah, I feel we can. And I've got a feeling with this one, this has got a bit of stuff in it. But let's see, how long have I gone? Because I said to myself I wasn't going to, well, I'll carry on. Because there was something else. There's some Ace stuff, and I wanted to try and show it on another tune. So I'll quickly do this, and then I'll show you on another tune. And in fact, do you know what's brilliant? I just realised I don't have to. I'm going to just change sequence. So I'll change to another. Oh no, I don't. Yeah, no, you can't do that. Anyway, right. So we'll do the third one. So the third thing that we're going to go DF3. Which is this, and I think this has definitely got vocals on this one. So that's got vocals on that. So we'll do the same thing again with that. We'll chop that 16ths, making life easy, and then stems. But we want vocals because we know there's a vocal on there, and the one above that is going to be 9 because that's 4, that's 8, that's 12. So if that's 8, this next one here is 9. So I'll do that, and I've got 3 bits. And obviously I've done this as 16, so you could do this as any amount as well. There's this is for slice motion. This is a way of, if you wanted to like remix a tune, you could do that. Just take that element without the slice motions, and then just chop your tune into 16 bits or what into bits, and then now you can manage it in smaller chunks. And here's the thing: you could remix the tune because now they're on stem layers on a pad, so you could go through them and change the layers on a pad. There's an additional thing which I am going to show you, and this is what you could do. Again, some thought. If you're making a new tune, then it's not a problem. If you were remixing a tune and you wanted to keep a lot of the elements, you have to think about it a bit more. Well, maybe not, depending on how you make a tune. I don't know. Everybody's different. So anyway, let's go back. And now I've got my free. I've got me. Obviously that. And what we'll do as well, while we're here, we'll make these mono. So we'll go down. I don't want to make the whole kit mono. Do I? Do I? Yeah, for this point, I will. I'll just make this whole. No, I'll make it poly. So this will still play, but I'll make each one of these mono. So I'll make this one mono. Oh, that one's mono. And if I make each one of these mono, no, I remember now. Let me just explain this, just in case you're not aware. This is mono, so what happens is if I press this, it doesn't play over itself. If this was anything other than that, what would happen is, so what you could do is I could put these in mute groups. The reason why I don't want to do it on the global is because I'm going to do a copy over something, and I might want something playing at the same time as something else. So you want to keep that poly. What I could do is, yeah, and that's why you would use mute group. So truthfully, I should put it into mute groups, but I'm taking too long on this, so I'm going to make it mono, and then it doesn't really matter if something gets cut off. You get the general idea. But now what this means is if I go like this, not going to have anything going over each other. So same thing again, we're back to what we were doing here. Got that there. And then we're going to go and we're going to convert that to ones again. And we'll do it on that one as well. What's brilliant as well is all of this stuff. What's really brilliant is each one of these is a self-edit. There's a plus and minus to that. The plus is that means you can edit something individually without affecting another pad. The minus is you have to remember that when you switch it off, you only switch it off on that pad. So you have to keep that in mind. One of my things before any of this came about was the idea that on multi you could select a bunch of stuff. So I can select this, and then if I move to something else, I might forget, but then I could just press clear. In the reality of stuff, again, I realise there was no point in that, but again, I was new to a lot of this. So anyway, we got our three things. Obviously, only one at the moment does what we want it to do. So we're going to go in here and turn on the increments. And it would be nice if you didn't have to do it on each one, but there's a good reason why some things you want them to be separate. And on the slice is, again, brilliant idea to make sure that they are separate, because you can do stuff like this. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go again to increments again and set this up nicely. So now we have Click. So so now I've got all of that nice stuff laid out. Champion. The reason why I'm saying this is good is let me think. There's a little sample there. You heard that sample. So you hear that, which is it's on one of these somewhere. There, it's on number 3. Because these are all separate to each other, I can go through the slices, so I can say to myself, I want this just to slice at a certain point. So this on number 3 of that stem, layer 3, this is now cycling just in that section. So this sample is not playing out, it's only playing that section. I can make this to go to 2 slice lengths. So now I've got that cross beat going. And this is a thing I could do. I could do the same thing with a bass line. So like, let's say, I don't know, I think that bass line's nice, but let's say I go, oh no, is there another way I could hear that bass line? Four. What about 8 slices? But now what I could do is I could shift where that is in that slice. So now I've got a whole different tune. And then what I could say to myself is, oh, I'm feeling that, but you know what? I think I want, for me, I like a lot of bass, so maybe I'll add a bit more bass to that, so I can go to the effects here and get that bass. Oh. But anyway, let's go back to what we initially had. So go back in here, and I'm going to move it back to this one. And home. And then we'll go back to this, and we'll move that back again to 1. And we'll back to all. And we're back. Now, what's really good about this, I'm not going to do it now because I've already gone on longer than I wanted to. Slice is automatable. So what that basically means is you could have something where you've got basically a rhythm or melody sliced up, and you can move backwards and forward through that because you can automate, or even better, you can put it on one of these. So you could put it into a track and then use a Q link or pad to move through that track to certain slices. And if you record it, you can automate that. So you can have something which is changing all the time. In fact, you could create something, and then they said generic, generative. You can create generative rhythms, because all you'd have to do is you go into macros and you add a envelope. So if you added, for example, I don't know, a sample hold envelope, which is random, I think, and there's a couple of random ones, or an LFO. And then each time that's going to be changing over time, and that slice will move, so it's not going to be the same, and all the melody is going to keep changing over time, so it's not playing the same thing. Now, if you have something which is in key, it's just going to be right always and keep melodically changing. And if you do the numbers so that they're even, it would melodically change and be in rhythm. Or you could do cross rhythm. I'm explaining that because, and then obviously, like I said, there's a load of ideas. Let me get back to what we're going to do because we want to quickly finish this tune up. Let me quickly do another one showing you with a different style. And I'm going to change that back up to its speed. I'm going to change it to 123 because I preferred that than that. So I've got that. So I've got my tune. And then I could do another one. So an easy way of me doing this now, because I've got my tune here, I could do a couple of things here. Make life easier for myself. I'm just going to copy. So I'm going to copy that. I'll copy it 3 times. Right. And then all I have to do is just move it up, because I already know where they are and they're highlighted there. So all I have to do is on this one, I'll get this sample. So I've got my sample there, and on this one, I'm just going to move it up to there. So all I have to do is move the transpose up, and now I've got this. So I don't know if anybody has realised what I did there. The first one was 2 bars of, I think the first one was 4 bars length. This was 2 bars. So over 16th, I just need to half that because it's going too fast. So I've got that one, let's see the third one. So we'll go for the third one. Okay, we'll do that. I'll do that third one. And I'll move that up. That's probably going to do the same thing as well, but we'll see. Cool. So I'll just half that. And so now I've got the tune. So now I've built up the beginnings of a tune. I could go in and start playing a little bit over it. I'll do something mad fast. Took too long here, but let me just get something. There was some drums there, weren't there? So maybe I'll double them drums back in. I think they were good drums. From what I remember, I can't really remember. So edit, back in, go back here, bring these drums. Another thing I can do, I'm gonna switch it back because I've already done it and it's not gonna make any difference. So I'm gonna switch that back to poly. The thing what's great about this now is I can take these bits, copy it, and now I've got this. But that's not the one I wanted. It was the one with the So I can copy this one here. So I've got that, and then I could say, oh, well, I like that. Let me see, what was that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So from 9, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to go across here. 9. No, I don't want it to cycle back round. And here's the thing. So here's another thing as well. If you had a sample or you want it to loop in a different place, that's another way you can use this. So I want that. Right, sec. So I want that as 4 maybe. So as you can hear, the drums still playing in the same way, because they're still there. But now that I've got that as a separate pad, what I could do is I could just get rid of everything that I don't want. So I'll go back here and I could go here and I could say, well, I want the vocals. I don't want anything else. I don't want any of the rest of it. So I'll just go delete. And because it's a pad now, so I've got that. So you probably can see, do you know what I mean? And that was out of 3 to 2. Break it out. And it's same. I could go da 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 down. So maybe that because it's going. So could I maybe that So edit that. So I don't care about the drums, so I'll just delete them. And maybe I'll loop that. So again, because I've got control over the motion slice, I could say maybe I don't want it to play all of that. Maybe I only want it to play half of that, and half of that is 8. I think it is. Let me just check. Yeah, there's 16 pieces, so 8. Alright, 8. So but maybe let me see. So now, so I've got the mouse. So I could get rid of the bass and whatever. So I've done a lot there. Hopefully that has been good. Oh. Right, shall I show some else? All right, I'll quickly show something else. I did a lot there, and I don't want to get too giddy on this. Right, all right. Let me keep that intact, because I'm going to make something out of one of these things. No, maybe I'll keep that. I'll keep that intact. Yeah. Anyway, let me go and quickly do something else. No, I'm going to just stick with this. I'm going to stick with this because it's already been like an hour, and I really didn't want to go mad long. An hour and a half. Right. Continuing with this, because now, like say, these are separate things. I'll go back into here, edit pads, get rid of that bass. So we'll delete that bass there. Delete. All right. That there now was part of it, so I'll undo that then. So that first one I don't want. That first one I don't want. Because these are slices, here's where it gets even more clever. There's a couple of ways. I don't want that first part. That right. But that first part is a slice. Don't quote me on this. I have to think. I've got to use my brain because this is on the same pad. What I'm wanting to change is. Let me just double check this. I think I am right, but let me just double check this. If I change this, Yeah, I thought I was right. So what I can do is I can turn the volume of this slice on layer one down. So the first piece on that bass line, which is there. Oh, I didn't even slice it. So that first bit I want down. Am I right on this? Oh no, it's. I can never remember which way round this is. So let me just see. That's the overall sample. That's the pad sample. It's a sample. So I want to go into here and I'm turning down that first piece. No, because I'm turning down everything on here. So the only way I could get rid of that is to not have that play. No, I'm wrong. I can even do better than that. I can have this play. Let's see. This is, oh, nice one. Just about to ask about automating slice position. I was just thinking about how that first part, and I just remembered, obviously, look, they're all velocity sensitive. So what I can do is that first part, as I'm going to keep this as a loop, just for the sake of ease on this, I'm going to make it back in, and then come back in. Do you know what? I don't even have to. I could just play that in, couldn't I? But we'll do it as a third one in it, so it doesn't really matter. And this is what's ace about this now, is I can go here. So I'll say I'll select this one. Interesting. No. Oh, right, right. There's so much you can do here because this is 1, 2, 3, 4. What I want is, can I? That's what I want to do in it. That's what I want to do. I want to move to this one. So I'm just going to have this one here and just have, and then that'll be it. And then I'll make a tune of it. That'll do me. And quickly that, and then so that's got no drums on that, so that should be. Oh, it's that one. And what's bass is just because this section here, I can make that echo off now because it's a separate thing to itself. It's on a separate pad. So I could go in here and I could say to myself, I could go back to notepad, that pad, and I could say to myself, let me make this one echo away. So I'll bring a delay in. I'll use an easy delay, just because. No, yeah, this delay is fine. And look, I haven't taken any memory. I'm well, taking a bit of memory there, but no CPU. And I mean, the reason why it's doing that is because there's that track still in there, so I could still get rid of. I could get rid of anything else that I'm not using because I'm not using that track anymore. So and echo that off. All right, and I'll just because I'm here, I'll just quickly show it. And I'm preset king, so I would just go to preset, follow me, and then I've got me. And the only thing I would do is maybe I have it switched off. So the whole thing's playing like that. And then maybe we could have. So all right then. So we've got a tune. Yeah, I'll quickly put a tune together, and then we'll be out of here because there was more that I wanted to do, but I mean, I can't explain at the same. We'll be here for days because I'll start getting on more ideas. So we'll quickly put the tune together, and take the loop off, and yeah, record it. Shall I start with something and then another thing though, I have to remember to tell you is obviously this way it's doing slices. So if you were to repeat something like just then, I was gonna go dum 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 dum, but I've just remembered it's gonna go through incrementally in the slices. So what I could do is I could just make another pad, which I can. So I'll just show this. So let's make. I'm gonna make a build up on this. So you can think about this for if you were doing snares or anything else. So now again, this is a different pad in its own right. So what I could do is, what I don't want is the drums because I have got drums that I'm using anyway. So I'll go into this sample. I'll get rid of these drums, and then I'm going to go back to the rest of it. And the thing what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to make that bass line kind of loop round. Boom, 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 boom. Probably four. It's probably eight, but do you know what? I probably would have been alright having them drums in, just for laziness. I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to bring them drums back, and I'll do it on both because I'm bone idle. Right, so we'll go back to that, go back to there, have that as slice, and then I'm going to do that as four. So we got, maybe you'll even go da 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 da. Maybe have it as, yeah, maybe bad do do bad do do. And that's the only thing there. Oh, is my voice got? Oh, right. You can't hear me. This stream is definitely going to be right. Well, nice one. Yeah. Hopefully you can hear me now. Techno cat. So all right, I'm going to piece together something quickly. Quickly, I'm not thinking about this. It's already gone too long, but we'll quickly piece something together. I'll probably, I'm going to probably arrange on the fly as well. So I'm going to do a quick arrangement and then play through in real time and rearrange stuff. So let's start with no. We'll start with this anyway. And then we'll go da 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 down down down, and then just kick right in. Yeah, screw it. That'll probably sound like I said. I'm making this up as we go along, so let's see what happens. Wait, so I'll do it to that. I could. Anyway, never mind. Let's just do what we're doing. 1, 2, 3, and that'll do. And then where's that? Bow, 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 down, bow, bow. Wait. Yeah, that'll do. No, quiet you. We'll go back to here. Right. Oh, undo. Because I'm going to record over. So carry on. What was that sample? Look at my bad timing. Let me do that all again. Let me do that all again. Quick clear. Shortcut, if you didn't know. If you press this and you've got this on the launch, if you've got the arrangement on launch arrangement, which I would advise by pressing shift launch, and making sure show arrangement clip matrix. If you press delete and that, it clears it. So it's a quick way of clearing a track if you do a track and you want to get rid of them. Right. So oh, it's okay now. All right, cool. So, all right, I'm gonna just freestyle this, but I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna, and then that's it. Okay. I'll switch it off after. No, I'll switch it off now, so that when I automate it, it comes on. So shift, deactivate, right, and that's what we're gonna do. All right. We're going back here. Full stop. Double tap gets you back to the beginning. Right, shift, record, because I didn't set up otherwise. Me and my timing. I never do anything right the first time. That'll do. Is that right? Let's see. Probably mashed up somewhere. Okay, and while I'm here, I'll bring that in. I'll bring that in. So shift thingy. This one, didn't I miss one? Zoom in, and that's it. Because the great thing about this is so I've got that. All right, let's go back. Let's go back there. One more time. Okay, here we go. Shift record. So we're into thingy. I'm going to bring this in. I'll do me. And then we're straight in. Quiet. Yeah, that'll do. We'll just go straight in. Okay, so we're in. Let's record in. We'll just keep playing. No, undo. Let me start again. Right. Start all over again. Right. There we go. That'll do. Whatever. Right. So we've got our tune. Is that it? Yeah. Yeah. So we had affecting. Right now, you might have wondered why did I do that all that stuff at the beginning. And the reason why I did it like that was because I'm gonna just add in a snare. Oh, that snare stinks. So let's go quickly, and we'll go quick search. We'll go snare. Make sure when samples. We'll quick up all this. Take it out of warp so that you do that. Yeah, have it that kind of raw. Right, so we'll go back to step sequence now, and I'll have my snare stuff there. Go back to arrangement. I'm playing the arrangement, and then I'm going to add in this oh, that's the wrong thing. I'll go there, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, stop being crap. Right, stop being crap. We'll get rid of all of that. Get rid of that, and that, and that. And I know where I am, so all I need to do is move that to there. I'll use that to move to there. And I'm going to go so I'll just go like that. It doesn't really matter how they are, because what I can do is I can go to step sequencer, and I'm on step sequencer, and I'm on the right thing, and bar 3, 4, there we go. So I'm going to do a build up across that. So is that right? Where does it start? Start there. Keep going. Right, no, something like that. And thought it through further than that. Is that right? And then a crash. I don't know. Yeah, we could do a crash. Get too gritty. Right. Do a quick crash. A quick crash. Right. A quick crash.
Trying to play me.
There. Crash. Come on. Spell crash right. CRHS. Crash. That'll do. Load that in. Right. Did I crash right? Keep playing. Did I crash? Wrong place. Right, so that's now that way. So that's hopefully this should be the right way round. And then we'll add in some more rolls. And don't forget you can use that for snares. And don't forget, if you change the knob, you've got control of swings and triples. So and then you could have a crash there. Don't forget the roll. That'll do. Please say I recorded that to thingy and not clip. Let me see. Yeah, redo. Oh. I probably bashed that. Let me see. That's right. Cool. I might have to do that again anyway. I wasn't paying attention if I. Let me go back to there. Add event. Yeah. Undo. See there. No. That's add event. Right, close. Let me have a look. Maybe I added all that stuff in. I wasn't quite sure. Well, we'll play it and we'll find out what we. Wait, let me play. See if I added them snares in and all that. If I didn't. No, I didn't add them in. Right, come on, let's do this. We'll do it again then, come on. Right, we'll make sure that's definitely in record now. So we've got our things. We'll select. So I've selected without having it play. That's definitely recorded now. We'll do no crash. That's a crash there. Go back. Ends with a crash. So let's see what that is. We could have maybe that bloom out. So that's a crash there. Nice. Might as well have a crash there. Why not? What the hell? Then we've got some rolls. As you probably notice, certain things are going back to front because it's sampled and it's where it's chopping. So that's back to front now because of where it's playing. So you've got to remember this is no longer audio. This is MIDI slices. So they're playing in sequence. So this is now right, and we've got a tune. I'll play the tune. And do you know what? We'll have a mad fast master, and I'll show you quick mastery kind of thing, because that bass line was booming, but I'll tweak and I'll explain while I'm going. So one thing what I realize is that burning, and this is what's great about control of stuff. Most things are automatable, so what I can do is I can have that bass kind of come up, so it can start off nice and thin, and we can try that. Let me just check that. Did I add any more to that? Oh yeah, because it was there in it. So yeah, and we'll bring it in. We'll bring it in with on that one. So here we go. We'll bring it up. We'll bring it up, down, and down, 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 and automate that as well. So here we go. And I did it on the wrong one. Let's see. So we'll do it on that one. I did it on the wrong one, but it's all right. We'll bring that up. What level did that get to? It was 24 or it was like 2.4 or something. So I'll remember to do that. So press play. So bring it up. Tell you what as well, because it went in my head there. We'll do a send. We'll send a little bit just from that. We'll send just from that sample. So I'm going to send from that sample. Go send, and then I'm going to send to. I think reverb is on that second thing. So I'll go back down here, and it's on the second send. So we'll turn that up there. So we'll record that in as well. And then we'll do a delay as well. And I'll fix that. Pumping in here. Shall I make it? I'll just make it a false pump. I don't really pump that much. Some French type thing. That sounds whack, doesn't it? Do you know what? I'll just boost the highs on this thing. Do a soft click. So oh, do you know what? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm going to go here and test out some. I haven't got one in mind. But that'll be a clean drum tightener. I think it's. Feeling that. Let's try drum sweetener. Holy moly, that sounds no. I'll have to think about them racks. What I'll do is I'll just put a nice simple max. No, put soft clip. Soft clip will be nice. Soft clip should be nice and punchy, and it'll do what it needs to do. What would be nice is if we had a little more search, but soft clipper should be all right. And then we'll call it because this is just kind of it's going manic now. Um, only one thing I would do, I kind of like tighter drums. I like the gate, but I'm just going to use a simple gate. We'll have some breaks in this. We'll see staying on some widener, quick widener, air widener, or it'll be modulation, cause there. It'll be modulation because it's modulating the. Yeah, that sounds nice. That's got a groove to it. So, yeah. Yeah, just in case some folks don't have that wide stereo field, depending on what they're listening to it on. Yeah, and there we go. It's got a groove to it, I think. That's the thing. But hopefully, yeah. Well, anyway, like I say, it wasn't. It's not my opus, whatever it's called. Anyway, I hope that has been helpful. I hope I didn't go too much into the weeds. I was really more trying to show you how you can do the slice, and the fact that the slice exists now means I can make that song faster or slower or whatever. And it's a way of manipulating. You can use it for loops. Like I obviously got that, and I've got that as a loop, and it's moving around. I can automate that stuff as well. So all of that stuff could be automated. So you could have a melody which you move and shift, and you move and shift along a loop space as well. The second thing as well is you can have something start halfway through a bar and loop back round because it goes in a cycle. So I made that easier for myself because there was a thing part of what I heard, and my idea actually was to go in and put that did it and mess with that separately. But well, obviously, explaining and doing at the same time can be a bit hard. So I'm hoping that this was helpful, and I apologize. I was meant to go on shorter, but you know me. Somebody said it, and they were right. I'll say that I'm going to go on short and then end up doing stuff longer than a minute. Anyway, as always, I really appreciate everybody who's joining in, and I hope this has been helpful. And until next time that I catch you, as always, hope you're well and I hope everything goes good for you. And peace.